Someone once said, "The measure of a relationship is not in what we gain, but in what we are willing to give." I want to share a powerful story with you today. This is the story of a man named Arjun. He lived with his wife and their little daughter, Meera, who was just 6 years old. One weekend, they decided to travel by train to visit Arjun's parents in their village. They packed a small bag of clothes, some food for the journey, and a gift for Arjun's mother. The train was crowded, and they found seats near the window. As the train moved through fields and small towns, Meera's eyes lit up with curiosity. Suddenly, she tugged on her father's shirt and said, "Papa, look, balloons." Outside, on the platform of a small station, a poor boy was selling colorful balloons. He held them tightly in his hands, smiling at the passengers in hopes of making a sale. Meera begged, "Papa, can I have one? Please." Arjun smiled and called the boy over. The boy ran up to the window, his face full of hope. "How much for one balloon?" Arjun asked. 20 rupees, sir," the boy replied. Arjun's wife whispered, "That's too much. 10 rupees is enough for a balloon." But the boy shook his head gently and said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't sell it for less. I promised my mother I would bring back money for my little sister's medicine." For a moment, silence filled the air. Meera reached out and touched the balloons with wonder in her eyes. Arjun thought about bargaining, but something in the boy's voice stopped him. Finally, Arjun said, "All right, give us one." The boy carefully handed Meera a bright red balloon. She held it tightly and giggled with joy. But as the train started to move, the balloon slipped from her hand and flew out of the window. Meera's smile disappeared instantly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "My balloon! Papa, my balloon!" she cried. The boy saw her distress. Without a second thought, he ran alongside the moving train, struggling to keep up. With all his strength, he held out another balloon and shouted, "Take this one. Don't cry, little sister." Arjun reached out of the window and grabbed it just before the boy could no longer keep pace. Meera's tears stopped, and a smile returned to her face as she hugged the new balloon. Arjun's wife leaned out and called, "Wait, we didn't pay you for the second one." But the boy, now breathless, smiled and said, "It's okay, ma'am. Your daughter reminds me of my sister. She also cries when she loses her toys. Some things are not about money." The train carried them away, but those words stayed with Arjun and his wife. They looked at each other, and their hearts grew heavy. Arjun slowly pulled the gift they had brought for his mother out of the bag. It was a warm shawl. He carefully folded it, looked back at the boy running in the distance, and gently tossed it out of the window. The shawl landed near the boy's feet. He picked it up, stunned, and then waved with tears in his eyes. Later that night, as the train rocked gently, Arjun called his younger brother on the phone. For months, they had been arguing over dividing their father's land. But this time Arjun said, "Brother, keep the bigger portion. I'll manage with less. I realize now that in family, we must stop counting gain and loss." His brother was silent for a long time before whispering, "Thank you. I was waiting for the day you'd say this." And in that moment, Arjun felt a peace he hadn't known in years. This story teaches us something simple but profound. True relationships are not built on bargaining, fairness, or keeping score. They are built on love, sacrifice, and the willingness to give without expecting in return. If we stop counting profit and loss in relationships, we will find happiness that no amount of wealth can buy. Because at the end of the day, money fades, possessions break, but love and compassion, these last forever.